Chapter 25. Once Upon a Dream. This way, Mal. Come on. Hurry. Mal followed the deep, strangely familiar voice that urged her out of the hideout into the deserted streets of the Isle of the Lost. She walked by the slop shop, down Main Street, and past Gaston's cottage. She wandered in a daze, unsure if she was still dreaming and asleep on the mattress, or actually outside in the cold night air. She heard the crunch of gravel beneath her feet. Her head felt foggy. She was compelled to follow the voice no matter what. "Keep going," said a new voice, and when Mal looked up, she saw Dizzy Tremaine with her signature pigtails and oversized glasses, standing on the deserted sidewalk. "Dizzy, what are you doing here?" asked Mal. What was she doing out here so late and so far from her home on Stepmother's Island? Dizzy shouldn't be out at this time of the night. "Don't worry about me," Dizzy said with a laugh. "You just keep going, Mal. That way." Dizzy threw her head back and cackled, and something glowed around her neck. She reminded Mal of someone who laughed like that. The answer was in the back of her mind, but she couldn't access it. It was like she was sleepwalking. Maybe she was. "Where am I going?" she asked. "You'll see," said Dizzy mysteriously. "You're almost there." Mal bent down to tie her shoelace, and when she stood up, Dizzy had disappeared. Had that even been Dizzy? What was going on? But she felt like she was going the right way. She had to continue. She walked to the intersection of Pity Lane and Bitter Boulevard, a route she had traveled countless times when she was a denizen of the Isle of the Lost. She remembered knocking down garden gnomes, pushing over mailboxes, tagging walls. Then there was Gil, leaning against the wall, eating a rotten apple. "Oh, hey, Mal, keep going." This was Mal's territory. What was a pirate doing here? It was like he appeared out of nowhere. Going where? Gil rolled his eyes. "Jailer's Pier. Where else?" "What are you doing in my dream?" she asked. "It's not a dream," said Gil. "It's real." Then he giggled maniacally. Mal thought he didn't sound like himself. He sounded like... But she couldn't finish the thought, so instead she kept walking toward the pier. When she was a little girl, she liked to play tricks on people there. She would throw a bucket of slime on the wood slats, making them slippery and sending unsuspecting villains sliding down the length of the pier and into the water. Mal hoped no one played a prank on her tonight. Seagulls lined the deck, picking at leftover trash. She walked to the end of the pier, where she came upon Harry Hook fishing, his line dangling out into the water. "Harry?" she asked hesitantly. "Oi, Mar, there ya." "Why am I here?" she asked, still not sure if this was really happening or even if that was truly Harry in front of her. Like Dizzy and Gil, there seemed to be something glowing around his neck. "You should never have left," he said solemnly. "You should never have left the Isle of the Lost." "What? And stay here with you?" Mal smirked. "What's so terrible about that?" said Harry, attempting to look wounded. "Everything," Mal growled. "Ouch!" Harry disappeared in a blink. Mal stepped back. What just happened? Where did Harry go? And Gil? And Dizzy? She'd ventured to the outskirts of town, right to the middle of a forest in the deep, dark heart of the woods, where a glowing blue orb floated in the middle of the darkness, and it spoke with the familiar voice. She turned away from the orb and kept walking through to the other side, and now she found herself at the opposite edge of the forest, close to the pier, and there was Dizzy again. "Mal, what are you doing out here?" asked Dizzy. Mal was confused. Didn't she just see Dizzy earlier? How did she get here so fast? She told Dizzy about walking out into the woods and seeing this blue orb. It spoke with a voice, and it sounded crazily like my... "Dad?" Mal shook her head. "No, That's impossible, said Mal. But what are you doing out here? We were supposed to meet up at Curl Up and Die hours ago, remember? Said Dizzy. We were? Mal didn't remember making this plan. It's okay. I was just excited to, Dizzy said. And then she stopped and looked disoriented for a moment, as if unsure of where she was and what was happening. Dizzy, are you okay? Asked Mal. Dizzy jumped. Of course I'm okay, she said with a too cheerful smile. There's just so much glam to add in so little time. She picked up Mal's hands. Just because they're cuticles does not mean they're cute, she said, and then stopped as if something was choking her. Mal leaned over and gasped, Dizzy, why are you glowing? Glowing? Asked Dizzy, and then she held her chest in pain. There was something glowing around Dizzy's neck. Mal reached over and lifted the source of the light. It was a seashell necklace. Dizzy, why are you wearing Uma's necklace? She asked. Dizzy looked down at the necklace, confused, but when she looked back at Mal, there was a crafty smile on her face. It wasn't Dizzy's smile. Mal knew that smile. I wouldn't say that Dizzy's wearing my necklace, said a voice that was definitely not Dizzy's. It's more like my necklace is wearing Dizzy. Uma, Mal said angrily. This is so low. Your fight is with me, not Dizzy, and she's a child. Oh, I can go lower, princess, said Uma as Dizzy. She took off Dizzy's glasses and stomped on them. Oops, she shrugged. Just you wait. Mal scoffed. Uma didn't scare her. Am I supposed to be frightened? Just then, Harry and Gil appeared out of nowhere and flanked Dizzy Uma. Both of them had similar glowing lights at the base of their throats. Harry waved his hook in Mal's face. You're not welcome on the island anymore. But Mal was simply amused. Really? And what are you going to do about it, pal, Mr. Coat Hanger? His name is Harry, Gil said smugly. Then he realized, oh, I get it, because it looks like... That's pretty funny, Mal. Mal smirked. Thanks, I'll be here all week. Uma's going to have the last laugh, though, said Gil, as the three of them began walking closer to Mal, and she had to walk backward, closer to the pier. I wouldn't want to be you right now, Mal. I wouldn't want to be her ever, sneered Dizzy with Uma's voice. The three of them kept inching forward as Mal kept walking backward, edging onto the pier. But now she was annoyed. What makes you think this is going to be any different from every other time that I've beaten you? Now Harry spoke in Uma's voice. Those were measly little battles. There's a war coming. And in this war, I will triumph. I'll have everything. The Isle and Oridon, said Gil in Uma's angry voice. Uma was definitely getting worked up, wherever she was. And you, princess? I'm coming for you, Mal, said Uma menacingly through Dizzy. Mal stood her ground, even as Harry unsheathed his sword, and the three of them kept edging toward her in a threatening manner. Mal, they whispered as they glowed with the light from Uma's seashell necklace. Oh, yeah? Mal said, curling her lip. She wasn't afraid of them. Not now, and not ever. Not if I come for you first. With that, she turned away from them and began running down the pier. If Uma wanted a fight, Mal would bring it to her. She ran to the very end of the dock, determined to fight and vanquish Uma once and for all. She leaped gracefully, throwing herself up in the air. Then Mal heard a different voice shriek her name, but it was too late to turn around.